Welcome back to Switches, Tips, and Knobs, where I flip them, twist them, and poke them for my pleasure. As most of you know, the world sucks right now. The economy's in the tank. Nobody's got money for anything. So, I haven't really been able to buy any new gear. Have run across a couple of trades here and there, which I'll get to eventually. But I wanted to make a video about a preamp pedal that I picked up. Bought it from a guy on Facebook Marketplace for $60 in non-working condition. So what I'm thinking is maybe we can fix it, because it's quite an expensive preamp pedal. Without further ado, here it is, the Victory, the Kraken. I believe this is V4. Yeah, the V4. He did not give me a power supply with it. I do have like a multi-volt, multi-amp power supply, so that's not a big deal. Yeah, I know this thing has tubes in it, and from what I was looking at, they're not your traditional 12AX7 ACC 83s. But kind of hoping it's just some bad tubes. Maybe we can get some replacements. Or maybe it's, resistor or something else that I might have here already. But thing looks pretty cool. I've not played with one of these yet. I was just thinking about how I would have to hook it up. I guess I'll have to use like an IR loader or something. But let's see if I can find the end of this adapter here. Let's see. Maybe you have to have a guitar cable plugged in, because it doesn't have like an on and off switch. Guitar input. That just made our plugging that in. Didn't do anything with the pedal, but it made the power supply freak out. So let's get the little reverse polarity thing. No. It's trying to do something. I wonder if we don't have enough power, because it says on the back here, it says 12 volt 2 amp, but it also says on their website that you need, oh my god, look at that. Dude, I think we need to figure out how to plug this in. I wonder if that's what the problem was that the other guy was having that I bought it from. I wonder if maybe he just didn't have a proper adapter. What I was fixing to say is that their website shows that the minimum acceptable power supply is 12 volt, 800 milliamps, which would be, like when you Google them, would be 12V.8A. Which it actually says on the back of here, maximum power consumption is 800 milliamps at 9.6 volts. So even though it's telling you that you need 12 volts 2 amps, its minimum operational is 9.6 volts at 0.8 amps or 800 milliamps. Dude, I was really hoping to open this thing up. Well, okay, we don't know. Like, the lights came on, and it looks like the tubes are heating up. We probably shouldn't be moving this around too much because you're not supposed to move hot tubes around. Maybe it also did this for him and still didn't work. So let's maybe let me figure out how I can hook this up and maybe put an IR on it or something, because it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so we'll just run this through Logic if I can. We'll be right back. Alright, let's see if for one we can get some more light over here, because that is kind of terrible. But I am starting to think that maybe that it's not just a power supply problem, or maybe I don't know how to plug it in. How can we get some more light right there? Let's see. Okay, so when that purple light is on, it cuts all sound. And we're getting signal through this, but it's like it's bypassing its own preamp. Let's go over to the green channel. From amp to amp to amp input to amp input. Okay. Okay, so what it looks like is that you have an output here that's like if you're going to run this into the power amp section of your amplifier. And then this one here that we just plugged in that I think is the way that we're using it now, straight into the interface, which I was going to try to pull up an IR loader, but I don't guess there's much point, being as though there's no preamp signal. It's just the guitar signal. But there is another plug here on the side that says remote switch. I'm wondering if it's one of those funky deals where someone used that and it switched over into like a permanent bypass mode. Because we're not really, volume, everything's up. Let's try one of these. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing. All right. Well, I guess let's unplug it and open it up. All right. Let's open this up and see if we can see anything right off the bat that's out of place. And let's just drop all the screws in the floor, because that's where they go. Ooh. It'd be nice if we had something to put that in. There are 4 screws on the back next to the little feet. I'm going to start with taking those out. I've never taken one of these apart, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But, for $60, I figured it was worth a gamble. And this is not the right kind of screwdriver. These screws have that funky head on them that's supposed to have a cross point, I think it's called. Okay. Look at that. That sits up against the tubes. It's kind of like a shock mount. Let's tighten these feet down a little bit. They're a little loose. That one's real loose. They were all pretty loose. Alright, well, we can set that on the floor for now. And I can tell you right off the bat, I have no clue what I'm looking at. Just kidding. I have a little bit of a clue. Let's see here. It's got our tubes over here, which, for not being... Yeah, I guess they're a little bit smaller. That one there in the top certainly is smaller than a 12AX7. The fuse looks good, which the power lights came on, so that's kind of a giveaway, I guess you'd call it. All the tubes feel solid, although this whole thing is loose in there. Maybe it's made that way. I don't know. There is a little board right here in the side. See this guy right here? In the bottom right here? That has an interchangeable op amp on it. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but a lot of people say that that's cool. Okay, so there's those. These should be all our pots. The first thing I'm gonna do is just check for places where solder joints may have cracked. I mean, I don't know a ton about this stuff, but whenever I find myself fixing something like this, that's the first thing I always do is look for cracked solder joints. Because this stuff gets hot, and over time it will separate some solder. I'm not really seeing anything out of the ordinary. A couple of the pots have some discoloration on the solder joints, but nothing glaring. Nothing sticking out. There is a little resistor right here that looks like it might have a cracked solder joint, but that's not enough to just shut the whole pedal down. And from what I could see, all of these tubes were lighting up. So I mean, somehow something is causing this to act as if the entire, like the signal is just stuck in bypass. I don't really know enough about these to know, well, I mean, to know the first place where to look, really. I'm just looking for stuff that might look or appear damaged. I'm not really seeing anything. All the solder joints on the tube sockets look good. There is a strange capacitor that's on the top side of the board where the tubes are mounted. Well, there's two of them actually. Neither look like they're having issues. There are no loose wires. I don't suppose that Victory is one of those companies that you could call, being as though they're in the UK. I don't know, maybe I'll just have to disassemble it a little further and see if there's an issue on the other side of one of these boards. I mean, it's probably not an issue at all, but this board here does have a pretty significant bow in it, and that does feel loose. Maybe they're on like little, yeah, they're little rubber mount things. Oh, so I bet that would have to come out before you could take the rest of the pieces out. Alright, well, I'll be back. Alright, it's the next day, and I messed with this late into the night trying to get it to work. It is actually working. It's on. Here's the on button, but as you can see, no sound. And as soon as you put it into bypass, sound coming out of the amp. I don't get it. I mean, it turns on, the unit's on, you can switch channels, no sound, you know, you crank the masters all the way up, nothing. You flip the little switches, everything. I mean, I've pulled it apart. It's actually still open in the back. And you can see those tubes are glowing. They're not cherry red, but they're doing what they're supposed to do. Everything has tested fine with this unit. There has to be a break in the signal chain within the circuit itself, and I can't find anything that is an obvious break in the signal chain. All the fuses are good, all the MOSFETs test fine, all the diodes test fine. There's no burns, there's no scorch marks, there's no cracks, there's no breaks, all the solder connections are good. I literally can't find anything wrong with it, except there just is no sound coming out of it. And I would say that, you know, when you put it into bypass mode, get sound through the amp. So we know that the connection between the input and the output is good. This one actually says effect out, and we get sound. You hear the amp. And this one is to amp. And so like from there to there, and from input to through and input to effect out, the signal chain is intact. But as soon as you take it out of bypass to engage the preamp, nothing. All you hear is the just acoustics, because the mic is directly above this. There's nothing coming out of that. I don't get it. And you can't, there are no, I mean, you know, these are built in the UK, and there's no schematics that you can pull up online. There's no parts lists. There are a couple of places on the board where the tube sockets are, where there are 2 places where it shows there are empty sockets for capacitors. I've kind of ruled those out because every socket on there that's for, not socket, but every spot in the trace that's for a capacitor has something listed next to it. Like, let's see, for instance, where did I see it? Like right here, C33 is 47 nanofarad. But over here, C11, there's nothing listed next to C11. And the other one was, where did it go? I can't see it now that I've put it all back together, but there's another capacitor, another place for another capacitor where there's just nothing there. But it also has no noted value for a capacitor next to it. So, a safe assumption that nothing goes there, being as though everything else on the board has a location and a value. But yeah, I am completely stumped. This appears to be functioning properly in every way except for sound output. The signal chain is broken somewhere within this unit. And there's not anywhere here in the States to where I could get parts or service for this. At least not in Texas. So if any of you other guys are having similar issues with this guy or can give me any insight, that'd be great. I guess this is just gonna go on the shelf for now. Uh, Looks cool on the wall, I guess. Anyways, sorry if this has been disappointing. If you watched it, cool. Thank you. Yeah, guess we'll see you next time.